Let me ask you a question.
We're ready to start things off.
Whatever.
We'll start off with our MSL lead reporter, Charlie.
Yeah, so smaller senior class this year, but larger, you're one of the larger teams overall. What as seniors do you guys need to do to lead this team? And anybody, or any of you guys can answer this question. But what as seniors do you guys need to do to lead this team when there's a smaller senior class this year? So anything extra you need to do?
Really just push people to show up and actually be there for practice and be there for our team events and make sure they don't skip out or say they have an excuse for something when they can be there if they just ask for help or a ride or whatever they need.
Coach, I believe this is your 8th season now with Berne Union. Just what have you learned throughout those past 7 years and entering this 8th season? Just the foundation you've built with this program.
Well, I think it all starts with numbers. We started flag football to try and get our kids at a younger age. I think that's done really well for us. We've got over 130 players involved in football in our program from kindergarten up. That's a testament to these guys too, because they're our coaches for flag football. So not only are our kids getting involved in football, but they're also having role models coach them, and so that gets that relationship and that rapport to help build our culture.
So just looking at the running game this year, I know you mentioned Mason Mullins, and you also mentioned your quarterback this year. What do you think that disparity is going to be when it comes to how you're going to run the ball? How much is that going to be design quarterback stuff? And if it's not a percentage, is it just going to be something you're looking to emphasize more? Running back, design runs, or where will that distinction be?
I think we've got a pretty good two-headed monster at running back with Finney Frock and Mason. Carson Kiger's going to be a sophomore quarterback, which is a lot for a sophomore, and I ask a lot of them. But he's picked it up pretty well. He's got a pretty cool head, and he's made some pretty good plays already in the first 2 scrimmages that we've had with him running the ball or making the right read on the option. So I think it's going to be a variety. Obviously, it depends on who we're playing and how they're going to play us in terms of who's going to get the bulk of the carries. But I would like to say it's going to be pretty split, pretty even.
Yeah, and Dylan, what are you guys doing to sort of set the table for that sophomore quarterback? What are you guys, is it just, fighting hard for those extra yards? How are you soothing a sophomore quarterback who has a lot of talent, but is still trying to figure things out?
Just helping him, or whenever he asks anything to do on any play, just telling him what to do, just helping him out with anything he needs help with.
Having a sophomore quarterback, how would you describe how he's fit into this offense? Learning the offense, being the play caller, do you think he's handled that responsibility pretty quickly?
Yeah, I think he's definitely ahead of his grade in terms of where he is mentally right now. He was a little nervous coming in at the beginning of the summer. Wanted a wristband because it's a lot, when you're in the huddle, you're getting the signals or whatever. And he's picked up right where JT left off. And the fact that he's a sophomore, he's got 2 more years after this year, bodes well for our program.
Out for the players, how would you guys describe your team's culture? Throughout summer practices, what has been emphasized, as an important, I guess, just piece to have for your team and just your mindsets?
Just brotherhood. Brotherhood's a big thing. Being a family. You have your own family at home, but on the football field, we're all a family.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Colton Moore called this group maybe my favorite quote of the whole summer, and I got it the first school I went to, a bunch of chihuahuas. You're small, but you're going to bite and you're going to bark. Would you say that's accurate? And is he just a guy who gives you a lot of extra laughs and fun in the locker room too?
Yeah, he is. He's a character.
He is a character. As much as it's a really funny quote that we've kind of given him a lot of crap for, and people have been asking me, "Oh, you guys are a bunch of chihuahuas, huh?" I'm like, "What?" And then I finally saw it. But I always tell these guys that size doesn't matter. If you have the heart and you have the right mental attitude, you can overcome that. And I think that's part of the point. You know, we are young, so we've got a lot of smaller kids. But as long as they continue to fight and do what they can on the field for each other, you know, sometimes that doesn't matter.
You guys are all seniors, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you 8th graders when the team went 10-0 in the regular season. What are you guys? I mean, obviously, you looked up to them going into your varsity years. What are you guys trying to do to maybe get back into that groove, try to recreate that 10-0 season? You know?
We're just trying to run our plays right and like make sure we're doing what we need to do on the field and off the field as well. Like in the weight room, like showing up to the extra stuff and like making sure we know what we're doing on all the plays.
Yeah, you know, just looking at last year's quarterback to this year's quarterback, obviously Jarrett could do a lot with his legs. That's something that you can still do, but is there any difference schematically with what you're trying to do here? Obviously, you know, that's something you're still going to have to figure out throughout the year, but is the deep ball opened up anymore? Has anything changed in terms of how you're going to call plays for this new quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, we are what we are in terms of what we do offensively. We like to spread it out and stretch the field. I do think this year we're going to be able to stretch the field more. James Hawking stepped in at tight end for Ray Davenport, and he's a similar type of athlete with speed and skill. Ashton O'Rourke has really stepped up at our K receiver position, and he's got really good hands, and I think Kiger and Ashton have really created a pretty good rapport throwing the ball up to this point. We're just still trying to figure out that X receiver and, you know, seeing where that goes. But we got some young guys that are looking to step up, so we'll have to see what happens throughout the season.
So Coach was telling me about what the sort of workout regimen was for you guys this summer, and it sounds pretty brutal. You know, you're doing a couple hours of lifting, then you're running up the hill, then you're running suicides, and then you do an hour of practice. So how does that get you guys ready, and was there ever a time you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't do this anymore?
Yeah, it's always the first week coming back's rough, and the break he gives us 4th of July, that week coming back's always rough, but once you get into it, it's not that bad.
You guys, good, bad?
It definitely,
too much?
it definitely prepares us for the season, gets us back in shape for it after like the whole time we have off. Not really off, but like out of season. Gets us back in shape, gets us back into football.
Mr. Al?
For the players, is there, like, as the season is about to begin, is there anything you guys are looking forward to in particular? It could be like a game, maybe like a team ritual, a team meal, just like, what are you guys looking forward to most about this season?
I always look forward to Fisher Week. It's my
Yeah.
favorite game of the year.
Well, I heard that from all you guys earlier this year, looking forward to Fisher Week, but I have a question for you, Coach. Somebody told me that you were from Fisher Catholic originally, or you went to high school at Fisher Catholic, is that correct?
I went to Newark Catholic.
Newark Catholic,
I went to
okay,
Newark
sorry.
Catholic, and then I coached at Fisher Catholic.
Is that ever weird for you to see them and you know that animosity that's in the community, and then you're like, well, I actually coached there for a little bit.
Yeah, it's my coaching career path has taken me a weird journey because I started out at Newark Catholic, my alma mater. Fisher Catholic was a team that we hated, a school that we hated, and then ended up coaching at Fisher Catholic. And Berne was a team that we didn't like very much when I was at Fisher, and here I am at Berne, and now I don't like Fisher.
All right. Well, that's all the time we got for this. Thank you guys so much for coming today.